Hey guys, it's Michael from Backyard Creations, Fair Ironworks. Today I'm going to make an alligator skin twist knife with a skull on the face of it. I've done one of these before several years ago, and I wanted to make another one like the first one I made. This isn't it says MC on there, so I'm not sure that it's a high content, high carbon, meaning we're not going to get in the argument whether a railroad spike makes a good knife or a great knife or even makes a knife. We're going to do this because I've heard someone say this is kind of like a rite of passage in knife making. Everybody makes a knife out of a spike. They're not expensive. If you buy knife steel, you're going to have 10, 20 or more dollars in a piece of steel to make a knife out of. You buy a $1 spike, what have you lost? $1. So it's a good practice. Anyway, like I said, it's going to have a skull and an alligator skin twist, and we're about to put this in the fire, and I'm going to get into it. I'll usually use a 4-pound hammer, but I'm going to use my dog face hammer, I think. I'm going to use a 4-inch chisel to make the lines. I have a couple of chisels that are ground down to different points to make the eyes and nose, and that's pretty much it. Alright, I have a set of tongs that I made out of rebar. This is I need to make a better set of tongs to hold a railroad spike with, but this will work for now. First thing we're going to do is we're going to heat the end and make the skull. Okay, you're going to hear me say this more than once. When you're striking a hard object, use a beater, just a hammer that's meant to hit hard objects, not your forging hammers. You don't want to mess up the face on your forging hammers by beating on hard steel or punches or chisels or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to form the jaws of the skull, and I'm going to use this guillotine tool. You can do this over the horn of your anvil. Use the first one I used a cross peen hammer over the horn of the anvil. That'll work, but I've got this guillotine tool, so I'm going to use this. And I do need to make a mount so that it will mount in the hardy hole and not be jumping all around, but we will do that another day. There we go. Alright, see, it's got you a nice little jaw line set up there. I'm probably going to come back. Actually, I'm going to put it back in the fire. I'm going to grab another hammer before we get started, and I'm going to work on that jaw just a little bit. So this is just a 2-pound cobalt cross peen hammer that I've worked on the faces a little bit to make them a little nicer, and we're just gonna, let me brush to begin with. Brush that forging scale off. I always brush away from me, that way you don't get any forge scale down your shoe, because I'm forging in as per normal. I am forging in shorts. I do have steel-toed shoes on today, so safety, third. So we're going back in the fire, and next we'll work on the face. Alright, off camera I took and dressed up the face of these chisels just a little bit. I use these long chisels because I have big hands. It's hard to find gloves to wear, so that keeps your hand away from the heat. Alright, we're going to grab this out of the fire. Let's see if we can get this face made in one heat. Probably not. Just drop it down in the hardy hole. Take the brush the force scale, and obviously I've added that chain since the last time I did this. So we're going to take my beater and we're going to cut a row of teeth in it. Just a mouth with a straight mouth. And if you want to make it a different shape, you can. I'm just making teeth. It doesn't have to be perfect. Alright, the mouth. That's where I screwed up last time, making the nose. Let's see, the point goes up, that maybe the fire's going out, the heat's going out. There we go. And nose is a little low. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. When you get done, it will look pretty cool, one way or the other. And we'll put it back in the heat and get the eyes. So we're going back in the hardy hole here. Grab the head of it, get back in the hardy hole. I need this right here to make a couple of eyes. Just using a round punch to make a couple of eyes. Get a little deeper than that. Like I said, it don't have to be perfect. And let's see, I'm not going to use that punch. I'm going to use that chisel. And make a couple of little eyebrows to make them look kind of mean. And what you're going to want to do with these eyebrows is you'll go, the edge of it will be pointing towards the middle of his forehead and the blade facing outward, so it'll give you kind of a triangle there, and it'll give you this look like this right here. Let's see, there you go. Now you have a skull. Alright, now I'm going to come back and I'm going to do the alligator skin twist on the handle. We're going to use about 4 inches of handle, and let me get it hot and I'll come right back. Alright, I ran in and grabbed the battery charger because the battery died. Thankfully I got it set up. Not your, whoops, don't set fire to the yard. It's important to have tongs that are able to hold your work. Tongs that are able to hold your work. Alright, first thing we're going to do, I use this right here, it's just shy of the width of my hand, so that's usually good for a handle by the time you twist it and straighten it and everything. So I use this, find the center line of the spike. 2, that's a pretty nice line. We're going to give it another one. Alright, give it a fairly good line. And you got to do that on all 4 sides. The steel's getting cold, and I'll put it back in the fire, and I'll come back as soon as I get the other 4 lines scribed. Okay, I'm coming back now, and what we're going to do is get prepared to make the crosses for these alligator skins. And you want to make the squares basically about the same size. 3, made that one a little big. 4, 5, 6. going to do those all the way around. And they ain't got to be perfect because, you know, an alligator skin is not exactly 100%, you know, symmetrical anyway. So anyway, I'll do all 4 sides, and then I'm going to have to get the camera reset up from a different angle so you can see me twist it in the vise.